What's up, gamers? Welcome to GameStar Nation. My name is Rob, and today I kind of want to go back to the basics and cover terraforming in Valheim. Terraforming is when you kind of change the landscape, raise and lower mountains, and carve out the natural environment in a way that suits you or tailors it to your building needs or desires. And so essentially, this is a training session on using the hoe in Valheim. There are three main purposes for it, and I'm going to cover all three in this video. The first is to make flat land. So I'm going to show you how to flatten the land in an area so that you can make it perfect for your building needs or make it look better. The second is going to be raising land, creating artificial walls or just filling in, voids of earth. And the third is creating slopes, sloping a path or hill up or down a hillside or mountain. And with these three things, you can pretty much terraform the entire world of Valheim. Or at least this will be the starting basics for that. So I've just found a small little survival hut here. I've just kind of patched it up a little bit. And we're going to use this as the foundation for our video. So I've made a small little path up heading this way earlier before recording. We're going to go over here. I got my little rock garden. The supplies you'll need to terraform are going to be, first and foremost, you're going to need a hoe, which is very simple to create. From a workbench, you can craft one easily with just 5 wood and 2 stone. Now that's really all you're going to need if you want to create a flat area or slopes. But if you want to raise land, you're also going to need stones, as well as a crafting table. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to pretend that I want to make a new building up over that hill. And I want to make a pathway going from my survival hut up to it. So we're going to start with slopes. Anytime you're trying to terraform in Valheim with the hoe, if you just click on the ground anywhere really that you can click, it's going to try to raise or lower the ground in that target area to around the height of where your feet or ankles are. So we're going to be on the ground here, and if we click the hoe, it's going to raise the ground because that's the setting I had because I wasn't paying attention. Okay, to change the setting of a hoe, whether you want to flatten the ground or raise the ground, with the hoe in your hand, on a computer, you're gonna right-click the mouse. I believe on Xbox, it's just the A button, but you guys can correct me in the comment section. From here, you'll have the menu. We have to level the ground, and then again, that's gonna level it to about where your feet are as long as you're touching the ground. We have raise the ground, which will do exactly what I just did on the ground I'm at right now. It makes essentially a mound. And then Pathen, which is to create a path. Here, if we just use the level ground and I click the ground, you can see it just kind of levels it all to the same elevation that I'm standing on. But if I choose Pathen, it doesn't really level the ground as much as it just clears out the grass and just kind of makes, well, a path. And then once you have a stone cutter, of course, we'll have the paved road option, but we're not going to cover that in this video. So here I've raised the ground accidentally, but what we're going to do is we're going to just choose to level the ground. And I'm going to use this as an example to explain how leveling works. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a level ground here outside of the hut, and then we're going to make the path up to the top. So the way flatten works, as mentioned before, it's going to try to raise or lower the ground to about where you're standing. Now see, I was standing here a little bit above the ground, and so what it did is it raised the terrain so much that it actually brought dirt up into my hut and made it so I can't even walk into it. It raised the ground too much there. So I'm going to go ahead and creep on inside, grab the hoe again, and we're just going to level it again. And that's going to lower it back down. Because I'm standing here, it lowers the ground to that area. So standing in our hut is where we're going to start this, and we're just going to start clicking the ground with the hoe. I'm just left clicking the mouse button, using essentially your action button. Now I come outside and I've got a good starting point here. So now I'm standing here. This is about the same elevation I was, and so if I continue to click, it's going to keep lowering the elevation around me. And what you want to do to create a level area is you just want to stand in one spot and click the ground in a circle around you. Then you'll kind of move a little bit, and you'll repeat that. And watch it just lower that mound right down back into the earth where it was. So to make perfectly flat ground, it's really just a matter of constantly and consistently going in a circle, move a little bit, repeat, and depending on how flat you want it, you'll just repeat the steps to get where you want. Now you will get stubborn pieces like this one where there's just too much earth here for it to really flatten. And that's when it's always handy to have a pick. Just pummel it into submission. The pick is perfect to get rid of stubborn areas like this. So we're just going to hit the ground a couple times to bring it down. And then we're gonna switch back to the hoe to just clean it up a bit, just smooth it out. But you see, there we go. It's kind of brought this stubborn area back down to where we were. There we go. So nice and flat. We've got a good building area here. And it really is just that simple.
Now when it comes to creating slopes, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna use the Pathen Tool. So a path creates just a little narrow cut to the grass and stuff. It doesn't actually change the elevation of the earth. And we want to create a nice smooth slope. But we're going to use the Pathen Tool to just kind of mark the area so we can kind of figure out exactly where we want the path to be.
So still using the level ground option, we're going to step up from the ground elevation just a little bit. We're going to climb up this hill just a little bit. And here, and we're going to hit the ground once, okay? Bang. And there we got a little bit of slope going. So you kind of just repeat that process. You go up a little higher, and you hit it again. And a little higher, and a little higher. Just hit it, a little higher. And then if you want it steeper, you'll just wait longer between hitting it. And there we go, look at that. Now, it's not a perfect slope. We've got some low points here, so you'll just go back through it. You'll just kind of correct it by standing about where you want to be and hitting it again. This one's a little too steep. We're gonna come up a little bit, hit it again. You're just raising your elevation, or again, lowering it, depending on which route you're going. Just a little bit higher or lower from where you are, and then hitting the hoe. It does take a little bit of finessing back and forth, because you will get spots that are just too steep. Like this here, I'd say it's too steep if I'm trying to bring a cart. So I'm just gonna come up a little bit. Not as high, and we're just gonna go a little bit more. I find if you're coming down the hill, you'll make for steeper slopes. If you're going up the hill, they're going to be less of an incline. Now, when it comes to terraforming, honestly, I'd like to give you, tips just to make it perfect for you right away. But this is something that, honestly, while I can show you the basics, it just takes time doing. This is something that the more you do it, the better you're going to get, the better your eyes are going to get trained at what's wrong or missing. But we have a really good starting path there now. So it's going to take the path up. It's not perfect, but it gives you a starting point, and with enough time back and forth, you can make it perfect. In fact, this lower part here is so much better than the top part, just because I spent a little more time over there. So now up here, we're going to flatten the ground. Our hill comes up a bit higher than the ground does here, so I make a decision. Do I want to bring the whole slope down or bring the whole ground up? And we're going to bring the whole ground up because that takes us to the third thing I want to cover, and that is raising the ground. So in order to raise the ground in this area, because I'm a Viking, I must have a crafting table, because clearly Vikings cannot do much without crafting tables. All right, so we're gonna go down and grab some rocks. It just takes 2 each time you want to raise the ground, so I grabbed 100, should be good. Okay, and so now, just like before, you have your target area. When you click it, it's gonna try to raise the ground mound height about this high from where the elevation's pointing upwards. So we're just gonna go around here and just raise the earth. Doesn't have to be pretty, because we're gonna make it pretty with the other tools. Okay, so now that we've got the ground raised, we're gonna go ahead and make it look a little more presentable. We're gonna go back to flatten level, and we're just going to do what we did at the bottom of the hill. We're just gonna walk around, clicking the hoe on the ground, and just flatten it right out. And just like before, if some areas stay too high, you can just switch your pick and lower it. But it really is that easy. Flattening the ground is that easy. You just gotta know that certain spots are not gonna wanna budge, and you're gonna have to use your pick for those. You may have to use the raise or lower tool on the hoe for some certain areas, but just go right back to level ground and flatten that out after you've done that. And you will always be able to make a good flat area to build a building on. Now, if you're at the stone age, you can, of course, using the hammer, you can also make a stone cutter, put it in the area you plan on working with, switch back to your hoe and choose the paved road option. Now this will take 1 stone for each area you hit, but this will still work to level the ground a little bit more, but then replace it with stone, which of course looks better and also kind of hides some imperfections. So you can't really tell that some areas are lumpy. Do be careful in doing this because it is going to still play the same rules that it'll lower or raise the ground to where you're standing. So as you do this, you'll want to go ahead and elevate yourself each time you walk up the hill. Now, I could take the stone path all the way up the hill to the top, but this does give you a good idea, a good starting point, and I'm feeling a little too lazy for that. So I'm going to end it here. If you have anything else you want to add, something I missed, please feel free to leave your tip in the comment section. People do read the comment section, and in most of my videos, I do have people helping out with the tips. And or if you have any questions, that is the spot for it as well. I'm happy to help you with anything I can, but I guarantee there's someone else that can do it as well, and probably will. Which on that note, I do want to thank all of you who've helped in my videos by answering other players' questions, as well as offering additional tips that my videos didn't cover. But anyways, that is all for this video. I will have more for you soon. I thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Until next time, keep the game on, game stars.